I'm Local Hippie, and today we are going to be talking about Sea Swept and Rising Tides by Miss Nora Roberts. Now, these were a few of the last books I read in 2025. Since I didn't read that much, but I did read, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm just trying to um kind of make videos on the books that I did read in 2025. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite read of 2025 or what your top 3 of 2025 was down in the comments. Let's get started. So these two books were actually rereads. I read them a few years ago. Uh 4 or 5 years ago actually. It's probably closer to 5 now. And I like Nora Roberts. The thing about Nora Roberts is that her stuff got me back into reading as an adult. The very first book I picked up when I wanted to really start reading again was Montana Sky by her, and that is one of my favorite books ever. Um I think I did do a review on Montana Sky actually. I was like, "Oh, maybe I need to do a review on that," but I think I've already done that. But yeah, needless to say, Nora Roberts is one of my favorite authors. I enjoy a lot of her work, especially these contemporary fiction, family affair type romances, because yeah, nobody does them like she does, to be completely honest. So, um, the reason why I'm kind of grouping these two books together is because there are 4 books in the series. So each one follows one brother of the Quinn family. And then, um, so we have the first 3, the oldest brothers, we've got the oldest, we've got the middle, and then we've got the youngest. And then we've got the actual youngest, Seth, the newest addition to the Quinn family. And each book follows them. But the first 3 in particular follow um, each big brother and their relationship with Seth as he's coming of age. So, a little background on the Quinn family is that Ray and Stella Quinn, the parents, they adopted each of the Quinn boys um, because they came from different, pretty much horrific backgrounds and were all running away from something. And they took them in and raised them instead of turning them into, let's say, the foster system, for instance. Um, And so I like to think of each of them as lost boys. I don't know if I don't remember if they're referred to as that in the story, but that's how I think of them, as lost boys and as found family. Um, so that's the reason why I'm grouping them together 2 at a time, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But the first installation, Sea Swept, is about Cam, who is the oldest, I believe, or the first boy that Ray and Stella took in. So he is a hotshot boat racer over in Europe. And at the beginning of the story, when we meet him, he gets a phone call, and it's that their father is dying and they need him to come back to Maryland. So he comes back to Maryland, and he's like all over the place essentially, because their mom passed away previously, um, and now their dad is dying. And what Ray tells the older group, the 3 oldest brothers, is basically that he wants them to take care of Seth the way that he, the father, and their mother took care of them, because he is one of them. He is Seth. Seth is one of them. And of course, Cam, he's selfish, he's successful, he doesn't want to do this, but of course, he made the promise, and so he's going to stick it out. And he's thinking that it's going to be a short term thing. And then, because it's a romance, Anna Spinelli, Seth's caseworker, walks into his life, and then everything changes. Not immediately, because that never happens with a man like Cam, who has never really settled anywhere. Once he left Maryland, he has this wanderer spirit. And he thinks that once this affair begins with Anna Spinelli, that it's just going to run its course, but it doesn't, and he falls in love. And not only that, but throughout the story, his relationship with Seth grows. And because he's the kind of man that he is, like I said before, he's very selfish, and he doesn't have a care in the world. And as you see him grow as a man and begin to care not only for Anna, but also for Seth, and see their relationship transform, because Seth is not an easy kid to deal with, you know? And Cam is not an easy man by any stretch of the imagination. And so you can only imagine how that works out. But it ends up being a very compelling arc that Cam makes, because at the end, he cares so deeply for Seth, and Seth cares so deeply for him. And to see characters like that come together and change like that is just mwah, chef's kiss. So that is the first book, Sea Swept. And then the next book is going to be Rising Tides, which follows the second Lost Boy, and that's how I'm going to refer to them, Ethan Quinn. He has a very, very similar past to Seth, which is the thing that should draw them closer, but it's the thing that kind of draws them apart for a bit of the novel, and is one of the things that makes their dynamic very, very complex, because neither one of them wants to talk about or rehash the horrific, and when I say horrific, I mean horrific things that they have gone through, but they have to in order to understand each other and to trust each other. And then this is also, it's a contemporary romance. So of course, Ethan is in love, or has been in love, with our heroine, Grace, who is a single mother to the lovely and adorable Audrey. Um, and because of his age difference, the fact that he's older than her, and because of his past trauma that he has not reconciled, he starts a relationship with Grace. And he's but he it's not even that he's hesitant. He doesn't even want to entertain the idea of having a future with her, because some part of him believes that she's too good for him. He believes that he'll hurt her. He believes that everything that is bad in him that he may have inherited from his mother will be passed on to any child that they have, or come out in their relationship. And so he's very, very um he's ardent about not having a relationship with her, which also adds another layer of complexity to his relationship with Seth, because Seth also has the very normal, natural feelings that children have for the people in their lives. Because Seth has like a crush on Grace and he cares about her. She comes to clean their house. Um, and so that's how Seth got to know her. And he has feelings for her, basically, just innocent little kid feelings. And he cares about her a lot. And so when Seth finds, and he's a little territorial, because again, with his past, he clings tight to the people that he ends up caring about, because he doesn't know if he'll lose them, basically. So the fact that Ethan has a relationship with Grace adds a layer of complexity and a little bit of friction between Ethan and Seth, which is resolved once both of them kind of understand their past, accept their past, and begin to trust each other because they've done that. Um, and so in the end, Seth ends up being just as close to Ethan as he is to Cam. And again, it's another beautiful thing to see um, them come together and be at a different place at the end of the story than they were at the beginning, which is the point of a story. But with some characters, that arc is flatter than with others. I feel like the arc in Sea Swept and then the arc in Rising Tides are very compelling, because Nora Roberts writes really strong, really compelling male characters, in my opinion. In my opinion. But that's going to be Rising Tides. Both of these I rated 4.5 stars. I really, really, really enjoyed them. And then the genre here is contemporary romance. And then a lot of the themes in this, or some of the themes that I found throughout the series so far in these first two, are found family, loyalty, age gap romance, and a little bit of forbidden romance, coming of age, overcoming the past, identity, love, and the loss of innocence. Um, I think Nora Roberts handles these topics with such grace and such empathy, and it never, because the themes, some of the themes that I won't get into, are very dark and very heavy, and she handles them with so much respect for survivors of traumatic experiences, and I respect that about her. um but that's not all that each of these stories is, by the way, either, and I love that as well, because a lot of times when you get authors writing about people who have gone through horrific things, they make that the entire story. That's not what's happening here. And I think that Nora Roberts does a really good job at juggling many balls and understanding that a character is not just what they've been through, and helping the character to see that they are not only what they've been through, which is beautiful to me. So that'll be the end of the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And most importantly, I hope you read a good book. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.